By the look of what's going on back here, you can definitely tell what this video is about. Welcome to Mixing Plants and Crafts. My name is Rachel. Today I'm going to give you an update on the begonias that I did my very first video on, that I moved them over to self-watering pots, and I'm going to share with you the rest of my begonias that I have. So I'm not going to do them like first self-watering pots and second the new ones. I'm kind of gonna I'm gonna share with you the big one first because I gotta put it back in a spot. So, but before I do that, let me tell you, when I started my collection in 2020, I was not into begonias. I was like, it is the grandmother plant. I don't want it. It reminds me of being an old lady. And I'm like, well, I got gray hair. I might as well enjoy begonias. No, no, that's not true. I only did it because I wanted to avoid that shipping cost. So that's what I do when I want to avoid paying that extra charge in shipping. I will buy another plant to get something to like over $35 so I can get shipping for free. So that was the plant right there that I decided to buy. Let me show you a clip of what it looked like before in September, and this is what she looks like now. I am in the I'm in the jungle. She definitely surprised me with the amount of growth that I had on this plant. Never would I have suspected this would be the fastest growing plant in my collection. She did get propagated, and I'll show you the propagations at the end. So I think I took 4 cuttings or 5, I don't know. I have a few, I think it was 5 cuttings. I took some cuttings from her, I don't know when I did it, a few months ago, and I'm going to sell those in a farmer's market, and I'm going to continue with her. So when I moved her to a self-watering pot, it definitely took off in growth even more, but there was a point where it slowed down in growth. And I think it had to do with the lighting I was giving her because she's just getting so tall. I took her out of the greenhouse cabinet and I had to put her, out of that cabinet. This is what she looks like from the back. I have these rods here to keep her upright because she wants to go free. I took her out of the greenhouse cabinet because she was getting tall. I think she was maybe about that height when I took her out. I have her now in a west window to see if I can get some growth back. As you can see down here, the leaves are really big, and the leaves up here, they're not so big anymore. So I'm not sure what that is from. I'm guessing it's lighting. It's lighting issues, and I don't know about humidity because our house is pretty humid. It's like 55 to 60 in a percent in humidity. The self-watering pot that I have so far, the water turns green because there's fertilizer in here. Once the fertilized water has like access to light, it's going to turn green. But the wick is also green, and the wick got some of the roots in in there as well. The soil is nice and evenly moist. That I like. It's another reason why I think I have smaller leaves, and actually, and the taller stem right there is a lighting issue. But and the reason why I feel like I have these small leaves, and some of the leaves that were coming in were falling off in when they were a baby. I think I was letting this pot dry out way too long between watering it, putting water back in. So I know when you're doing self-watering pots, you're supposed to let it dry out and then refill it. But I don't think this plant likes it too much. If you have that same experience with self-watering pots and begonias, please let me know. But I found that the self-watering pots worked for me because I have a watering issue. I don't water as much, and I've had some major issues with dry rot. This one, she's doing really well. I'm excited to see what she's going to do in summer. She again is in a west window, so we'll see. I'm actually going to put her back in the spot because I don't want her to be out of there for too long, because now it's turning to evening and the light is gonna hit that window really nice. So she's gonna get some light. Oh, here it is. This area right here is where I chopped. So I guess it was about this big when I chopped it. So I chopped here. I chopped it right here to propagate. I think I just chopped one branch. Yes. And that same branch is what's giving me very tall growth and small leaves. So I'm not going to propagate it again, but I am going to give it a little bit more light. Oh, maybe I'll propagate it and stick it back in the pot when I repot it. Maybe I'll do that. Polka dotted, beautiful begonia. I love her red leaves in the back here. Such a deep red color and it's so gorgeous. Well, I'm going to put her back now. Here are the begonias that I propagated from. Oh, there's some ladybugs on there. Oh, sorry if I disturbed you in your home. But they're doing really well and growing so fast. This is one of the fastest growing plant. This plant grows so fast. It is in a greenhouse cabinet, and of course I need to water it. So I'll probably give it a water before I put it back. Okay, so the next plant, I got this plant in my unboxing I did 2.5 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Now I took the substrate that it came in out and it ripped a lot of the roots. So the roots are slowly growing back. And let me tell you what I did. I have this in water, propagating in water to grow some roots. And of course, it's on top of a heat mat. And I forgot about it, and the water completely evaporated, and it was sitting without water for I'm not sure how long. I want to say it was sitting without water for 2 days. Since that happened, I lost these two leaves from there. I put the leaves in water to see if it would propagate. Two plants in the pot that it came in. I think I lost leaves from this one, and this one is where those other leaves came from. So it's still really beautiful and it seems to be recuperating okay. Last week was quite a little stressful for us, so I definitely missed a lot of things in the plant room last week. Before I go to bed at night, I like to go through the plant room to see if anything needs to get done and make note of it for tomorrow. And I have not been doing that. So anyway, I'm going to put this back in there for propagation reasons. I love that it's red on both sides of the leaf. Yeah, this one, very beautiful. And I hope it recuperates well. And I know it will because these plants they do really well. I'm probably going to move this to a darker vessel because um, the begonias in a dark vessel kind of roots a little faster in my opinion. Okay, so the next plant is another gorgeous one for the begonia. It is called Begonia White Ice, and it is doing really well. It's so full and bushy. I watered it yesterday. I'm very proud of myself, and I kind of have it right where my office computer is, so I have an eye on it like every minute of the day. So I do a look at her often, and I can tell when she needs water. So I this plant came in as a starter plant, and it also had one of those sponge plugs that I don't like. So I did take that sponge plug out and rerooted it in water, and I was kind of scared because there was nothing happening for weeks. But then it just finally took off. So and then I put it in soil. started flourishing from there. I'm glad that I moved it to soil. If you have this plant, let me know how it's doing. And do they spread out or do they grow tall? I think when this plant gets bigger, the leaf does size up a little bit more and the spots get bigger. So that will be really nice to see because I have the pink spots, white spots, and now I have like, it's like a white cluster spot on this plant. The next one is called Looking Glass Begonia. I am not sure how I feel about this one because of the way it's growing. It's very bushy and I think it needs water. Surprise, surprise. Oh, look, there's another plant. There's another shoot on the bottom here and then another one right here. I kind of wish this would grow a little taller. Oh, oh no. See? See what I mean? This, I need to water this. This is what I'm talking about, what the other begonia was doing. This is what happens when you underwater, I think. This is underwatering. The leaf just falls off. So I do love the look of this. It's silver with the stripes, and again, on the back of the leaves is red. Um, but it's just a little too bushy for me. I wish it would just give me a little bit more internodal spacing. But so far so good. These plants started off really small. The leaves are huge, huge leaves. I don't want to touch the leaves too much. This was one of the ones that I did not put in a self-watering pot, and I told myself I would keep up with the watering. Okay, the next one is called a new hybrid for a Begonia Summer Storm. I absolutely love this plant. I love how it's spread out, and there's two plants in here. I want to divide it before winter comes and give one away to someone as a Christmas gift maybe, because this plant is just getting it's getting wide. It has a place in the living room near a south window. It's very far from a south window. So but let me tell you, this plant, the minute this water finishes from the self-watering pot, within hours the leaves will fall immediately to let you know it needs a drink. It is a very dramatic plant. This one and the Begonia Brazilian lady, very, very dramatic when they need water. New leaves coming out. I'm very happy to see that because this plant flowered for me a few months ago and I let the flower stay. I tried to pollinate it and I think I did, but I cut it off too quickly and I didn't get any seeds. So that was my bad. I would like to experiment again next year. It reminds me of Christmas. I'm looking forward to having some of these plants in my Christmas decorations this year. But let me show you how easy this plant is to propagate. So I cut the older leaves off a few months ago. And this one I cut recently. Let's see if there's any roots. There's no roots yet. Nope, no roots yet. So I cut this one off very recently from the bottom part of this plant. And this one I cut a few months ago. Okay, so this is what this one looks like. There is roots and the plant is growing out from the center of the leaf. How cool. This is how easy this plant is to propagate. And there's another leaf coming out. Love it. I tried this method and I know you can also put it in soil, put the leaf in soil. I haven't tried that yet. I might try it. Might. I do enjoy seeing this method being done just to get a new plant from an older leaf, amazing, amazing, because you're already cutting off the older part of the leaf that's dying off. And if you just stick it in water, you get a new plant. And let me tell you, no yellow leaves from this plant at all. None, none whatsoever. This is as much as I get from yellow leaves. And again, once these leaves are dying off, put in water and you get a new plant. So the next begonia is the Begonia brevirimosa. And this is the one that I got in my shipment that I had about 3 weeks ago. So this leaf melted partly off, and there's another one that melted off. It is looking so good. I actually feel like I might just cut this off right here and stick it in water and see if I would get a new plant. It's getting kind of top heavy. So this is when I contacted the shop and they gave me a refund on this plant, but this plant seemed to be bouncing back. So I'm thankful for that. I do need to water it. Are you surprised by this? So I'll be giving it a water. These leaves are dark green with red stripes. Very pretty. And that new one is looking really nice. This, if I can show a clip of what it looked like, the repot to the self-watering pot, I'll show you, but it's grown so much. It's like it's 360 degrees of plant. When I first got the plant, there was flowers on it, but it's not flowered for me again. And I did propagate this plant recently, and the propagations are doing okay. So dramatic when it's thirsty. And there's no water in here. I am gonna give it a drink. I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow just to give it a chance to not be so wet. Actually, let me check the soil. I don't know how. Oh, it's moist. I'm gonna water it tomorrow. This one sits right here in the kitchen. This is an East giant sliding glass door. So the problem with this is I can't have a lot of plants in this area because there's an AC vent right down there, and it can be really cold during winter. So I will have to figure out what to do with this plant once winter comes because I'll have to pull it back from the window. So the leaves on this plant, it is dark green. It is fuzzy, and then on the back it's red. Gotta love those red back leaves. I had this plant in a smaller self-watering pot, and then there was a self-watering pot fail after a few months. So I had to move it out of that self-watering pot and put it in a regular pot because I didn't have another self-watering pot. I had it in a regular pot, and it would be so dramatic when it's thirsty. I recently I think about 3 weeks ago, during a lunch break, I was just fed up of having this plant go thirsty every 2 days. So I moved it to a very big self-watering pot, and it's been extra happy. I've not seen any droopy leaves. I've not had any falling leaves. This plant used to drop leaves when it would get underwater. So I've not had that problem since I moved it to a self-watering pot. So I'm thankful for that. But it's doing well. Yeah, very well. If you want a fast-growing plant, get a begonia. If you want to see that plant growth happen, begonias are for you. Would recommend self-watering pots if you are an underwaterer. If you are an overwaterer, great for you because I cannot water my plants that much. I don't have the time. I brought this plant back to compare it because I want to say they're similar in growth pattern and similar in like the foliage, how it's this internodal spacings are smaller. So this one and this one very similar. Put this back. So the common name for this plant, this is what it was sold as. It's called a Begonia pink cracklin Rosie. Yes. So this plant, very beautiful, pink polka dots, and the back of the leaves are dark red. The front of the leaves are also dark red. It's so shiny. It's very shiny, and the leaves are so freaking big. I cannot believe how big these leaves are. They're so big. So the one problem I have with this plant, it does not tell me when it's thirsty. So I have it in a self-watering pot. I kind of give it a few days of being dry before I water it again. But it's not dramatic. It doesn't speak to me. I had to stick it up because it's top heavy and falling over. I do wish the internodal spacing of this plant was a little taller. I don't have it in any kind of window. I have it under a grow light, and the grow light is far away from the plant. So I don't know if that's the reason why. I would like to fix my setup to give some of these plants a little bit more light. I will be doing a whole house plant tour in summer, the end of summer towards the time of fall. So hopefully by then I would have the new setup for the plants, but I want to give it more light. Begonia Pink Cracklin Rosie, shiny as can be, so dark and so beautiful. If you have watched my videos on a regular basis and you are at this part of the video, you would appreciate this plant or appreciate um, this drama that I got myself into. Okay. It's a plant that I got 3 weeks ago and it melted completely off. It is called a Begonia bipinnatifida. And this is what I have left of the plant. It seems to be growing. I'm kind of plucking some things off. And right here seems to be getting a little moldy. Okay, so this plant seems to be bouncing back just a little bit. And I have a little bit of water at the bottom of this, and I have it in here. The water is not touching the pot, but it's giving it a little bit of more humidity. And I have this over it as well. And I have it in the IKEA greenhouse cabinet so it can get ample condition to revive itself. I'm hoping I can revive this plant. I don't know. So far so good on this, what I have left. Oh, there's a ladybug on it. I love it. I'm sorry. Okay, I will mess with you. I know that this plant is more of a terrarium plant, and I feel that some people have sent me messages on this plant in my last video that they have the terrarium lid off when they have this plant. So I did have the lid off for quite a while, and I just put this lid on yesterday. I have this plant. Tell me your experience with this plant. I did not know I was going to get such a difficult begonia. I am thankful that I have something left of this plant. So to wrap up this video, as you can see, I do enjoy growing begonias and I really love having them around. But for 2024, I think I'm done collecting anymore. Only because they really kind of take over a space. They're kind of spread out. So as these continue to grow, I'm going to see what I'm going to do with them. I'm not getting rid of them, but I'm probably going to propagate some and give it away for Christmas. So begonias, they propagate so easy. The soil has to be moist mostly. There are some begonias that's very dramatic about wanting water, and then there's some that doesn't tell you. They do flower. I have only one that I've experienced the flower with, and I did try to pollinate it, and I think it was successful, but I wasn't patient enough, I cut it off because I wanted more leaves. So excited to see what these plants will give me for the rest of the year, especially the small ones. The white ice, I'm excited to see how that's going to grow. If you have any of these begonias, please let me know what is your experience with them so I can learn too, because I am not an expert in begonias. Let me know which ones you find dramatic and let me know which ones you don't. This is the most dramatic one so far. If you have experience on this plant, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video and letting me share my begonias with you. I'll see you next week.